the Single Guys, and I am Jason.
And I'm Desmond.
And we're still single.
Yep. But back with another episode.
And this topic this week, I actually got from watching a video on YouTube. It was, I think the group is called Just Saying. It's a group from Singapore. It's got what's that pretty DJ, Jade Rasif.
Right.
Yeah, Jade Rasif and some of her friends. And it's Saffron, Jade Rasif.
Something about that group has something to do with millennials.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen that videos.
Yeah. See now I'm unsatisfied. I have to actually look for what this group is called. Oh, they're called the Backstage Bunch.
I think this.
Yeah, the Backstage Bunch. Yeah, because they went through different companies now, and then I think they're on their own now. Yeah, so the Backstage Bunch. So about a month ago, they had this episode called "Letter to Our Exes," and it was the four of them. Can't remember the other two. One is the guy. He's like Malay Indian guy.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then one is the Malay tall girl. Anyway, so basically, I just want to copy their idea.
It's an interesting topic.
It is, because I think everyone has a message for their ex.
Yeah.
Okay, and how they did it is exactly how I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It is, what would you say to your ex today if you had the chance? I'm not saying that they're gonna listen to the show. I mean, they might. I'm not saying that they are going to respond to you, but what would you say to them, whether it is a good thing or a bad thing, that you would like to just tell them?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay. So, with that, would you like to start first, or would you want me to start first?
I don't know. Maybe you can go ahead first.
Okay. I want to start off on a positive note.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because when you ask people to talk about their ex, a lot of times it's very negative.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no doubt.
And with this ex, I had a lot of negative things to say about her. But I also have a lot of positive things to say about her. Okay? So this one particular ex, right? During the time I was with her, I learned so much. I learned so many things. So I guess this is my message to my ex. Dear ex, thank you. Like, I'm very, very thankful. There are so many things which I learned from you. There are so many habits, good habits, which you taught me, that until now, I still do, I still practice, and it has become a second nature thing to me, to the point where, well, initially when we first broke up and I was doing all these things, I kept thinking, man, this girl taught me this. And I felt like quite rebellious, like, to do it. But because they were good habits, okay?
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Very simple. This ex, she taught me that whenever I come into the house, before I go to the bedroom, right? And this is not go bedroom to have sex or anything.
Yeah.
Before I go to the bedroom, put my shoes in place and wash my fucking feet. Simple thing.
Simple things like that.
It's a simple thing.
Yeah.
But what I realized was, previously, I never did any of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would wipe my feet, but I never actually washed it.
Correct.
You know? And I used to think, oh man, this was such a hassle to do. But then I realized why her room was so clean and mine wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And because of just one simple thing she taught me, I became much more cleaner, much more obedient in that sense. She also taught me patience. So previously, on a previous episode, we talked about, I talked about learning the period, like the kind of period that my exes would have. And and she was the one who taught me. Like, in the first 6 months that we were together, I couldn't figure out, like, what was happening. And when she was not on her PMS, she would explain sometimes she needs this, sometimes she needs that. And because of that, she taught me to be patient, because she warned me beforehand. She was like, when I'm on my PMS, I'm not very patient. I will get a certain kind of behavior. So I need, and it's not like I want to be angry at you, but I just can't control it.
Yep.
And she taught me how to see. She taught me how to just be more attentive to her needs, and I guess baby her.
No, yeah.
And it made me a better person.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing also. Because she came from a much better off family, right? She was, I won't say bloody rich, but she was quite well off.
At least well, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't come from that same sort of background. But when being with her made me realize this is what I want. I want to achieve this level of comfort where if I decide to go on a holiday, on a fling, I will do it. I can do it.
Yeah.
And she gave me goals. She gave me ambition.
Right.
So she taught me, and obviously eventually when she left me, she went with a much richer guy. That's another story. I could be angry about that. I can. I guess I should apologize for that as well. But it is it was something that I needed.
Yeah.
So I am very thankful. With this particular ex, I'm genuinely thankful. There are things in my life, really, there's so many other things, so many other examples, right, where I could just say was a direct influence from her. Yeah? So that was one. There's another ex that I want to talk about. And I think with her, I realized what I did not want in a relationship. So with this other ex, being with her, and then after breaking up with her, I realized, okay, I have my list now of things I don't want in a girlfriend.
Your red flags.
The red flags. It wasn't like our relationship was not good. In fact, when I think about it, right, if I was a bit more patient, it probably would have worked out.
Yeah.
But because she was giving all these red flags, right, and she was not willing to change, those were the things which I felt like, okay, I cannot have a girl or can't be with a girl who is not willing to listen. Or not say not listen, but compromise.
Right.
Like I knew immediately, okay,
yeah.
So if she was not willing to compromise, if she was not reasonable, those were the two things, the characteristics that made up my current list of things I don't want to see in a girlfriend.
Yeah.
So that was just, I guess, what I should be thankful for. I have to say I'm sorry to her as well. In fact, I want to say sorry to my other ex as well, who taught me so many things. When we broke off, there were so many things which I could have said to other people. Like they were talking behind her back because she left me for another guy. And even though we had a closure talk after that, right? Like it didn't stop people from talking about us
anymore.
Because of the fact that she went out with another guy, 2 weeks after we broke up? And even before we broke up, she was already hanging out with this guy. So people are going to talk.
Yeah.
And I could have very easily tell everyone, look, we broke up because of this, not because of that.
Yeah.
But I didn't, because I was heartbroken. I was in pain.
No, for sure.
And I was not at an emotional state of mind to even want to defend her. If anyone that should have defended her, it would have been me.
True.
But I didn't. And I just let other people talk what they want to talk. And obviously, the more juicy it is, the more people will talk.
Yeah, for sure.
This happened so long ago that even 2 years ago, I met an ex-colleague. She asked me about it. I'm like,
wow.
Yeah. So this is like over 10 years ago?
Damn, yep.
And yet my ex-colleague asked me about this 2 years ago. She's like, so she cheated on you. I'm like, look, I can defend her. I won't defend her, but I should defend her. I just didn't feel like it's my place anymore to want to defend somebody who hurt me But yeah, I really,
True,
I
true,
honestly could
yeah.
have just told
Yeah.
the whole world, it's not just her fault, because I was not the perfect boyfriend either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
Which
so.
goes, I guess which goes to with a lot of relationships, right? Like a lot of people always think that it's either one side that's wrong.
Correct. It's
but-
never.
correct. News flash, or it's always both sides.
It's always both of them.
Yeah.
Very rare that.
Very rare, yeah.
Very rare is just one party's fault.
correct.
I mean,
Correct.
I was not perfect either.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to tell that to people, and I just let other people talk,
No, correct.
which I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, ex. Yeah, with the actually I started saying sorry is because of the other ex. So the other ex that I want to apologize for, the one that gave me all the red flags, was because after we broke up, she scared the living hell out of me after she was stalking me and stuff, and I called her many bad things, which I shouldn't have. Again, I was being childish. I was immature. and it just gave me an easy way out to explain to people.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I'm sorry for that. I mean, I know they will never listen to this. They probably block me on Instagram or Facebook or something.
Well, you're not the only one, right?
yeah. So they'll probably never listen to it. But hey, who knows? Maybe 5 years down the line, somehow they find the podcast and then they'll be like,
No, but I think this helps in a lot of ways. Like, I think a good way to think about it, like why we're doing this, is also, for us as a self-realization, right?
Yeah.
Of the wrong things that we've done, but also to become a better version of ourselves moving forward. So,
And yeah, I'm sorry, ex. Ex, the other ex, even the one that I was a bastard to, that one, the good thing was, because many years down the line, when she was already dating another guy, we actually got to talk about it, and I apologized to her at Coffee Bean, when she actually asked her boyfriend to go. I think I mentioned this on the podcast, didn't I? I might have mentioned this, where I actually met her with her new boyfriend, and then she was with her new boyfriend and her sister, and this is like 3-4 years after we were done as an item. So when she saw me, because I know the first few years she was still angry with me when she first.
Yeah.
Then she saw me that time, we were just chit chatting, and then she told her boyfriend, she's like, babe, can you give me and Jason a minute? You go with my sister first. I want to talk to him. And then I was like, oh shit. And imagine this is like 3-4 years down the line,
Alright.
and I was still thinking in my head, damn it, I'm such a bad boyfriend. And then we talked it out. I apologized to her there, and she understood. Well, no, she didn't understand why I did what I did. But she accepted why I did what I did.
Yeah.
And I acknowledged my mistake there, and I apologized to her there, and we're cool after that.
Which is great.
We talked. I mean, I don't keep in touch with her anymore, but for a few years after that, we still talk.
Yeah, but at least you guys got to clear out the bad air.
Yeah, we cleared out the bad air, and yeah, it was fine. So I guess that one I had a direct message to my ex. But yeah, for the rest, sorry and thanks. Okay, Des, where do you want to start off? You've got you've got a longer dating history than I do.
No, but it's definitely on top of my head. There's two that I would probably, well, if we were actually saying that if we were to send a letter, then there'll only be two that I would even mention.
Because the others are not worth any of your breath.
No, not to say they're not worth. I just think that they're not that significant, or they've not made such a significant impact on my life as much as these two have. Right? But these two are the ones that I've always, just the most impact. Right?
Okay, hang on. I mean, I guess I should say also what I learned from each ex.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry to cut you off, since
no, not at all.
I'll delay your start just a bit. But I mean, with if you want to go all the way back to uni, right? Summer fling. what I learned from her is don't play around with people's feelings. So I learned that from her. With the one I was a bastard to, I guess I was still playing around with her feelings, but
Less.
not only less.
less.
No, I was actually worse.
Oh dear.
Because when I left her, I literally just left her like that, without saying a word. I was the one doing the blocking.
Right.
So that's not cool.
Yeah.
That's really, really mean. And people deserve... I needed to respect her, which I didn't at that time. And I was wrong. So I learned the hard way that I shouldn't have done what I did.
Yep.
Right? Then after that, the next two... with one, I learned how to be a better person. Grateful for that. And then with one, I learned what I didn't want in a relationship. And even though it sounds like a bad thing, it's actually not a bad thing.
No.
Because I actually enjoyed my time with her.
Correct.
You
just learned that,
I just learned the characteristics that I didn't want.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Which is completely fine.
Yeah.
And natural.
Okay, sorry to cut you off. But
not at
yeah,
all.
you can go ahead. Start writing to your ex. Dear ex.
Dear ex.
Dear ex, let's not give names, obviously. But you know what you want to say to them.
Yeah, so, dear ex. Definitely the first thing that I will mention is thank you.
All right.
Yeah, thank you for never once ever pressurizing or putting that pressure or forcing me to be someone, to push me to be someone that I wasn't. Right? So in that sense that, she never forced me or, emotionally blackmail me or, try to be the type of person that she wants me to be, right? It's never forceful.
Okay.
And
so she was very considerate.
Yes. And that was one of the things that I really loved about her, in the sense that, she lived her life and she set a very great example.
Okay.
And, it was such a loving relationship, right? And a very mature relationship that it, like we've talked about this in the previous episode, that, it just naturally causes you to want to be a better person for your significant other, right? Now, of course, what comes with that is that I've got to say, the one biggest mistake, which to me was the biggest lesson that I've learned. And, that was when you found someone great, always be willing to fight for it. Okay. See, the thing about me was that I was too reserved, right? So what happened towards the end of the relationship was that because we're in separate countries, right? This was straight after university, and
long distance is hard.
Long distance is hard, right? When people say LDR is hard, I understand, but sometimes the weight of that is different. Right? Let's say you have a LDR with someone who is in KL and Brunei, right? You're still in the same time zone.
Yep.
It's still not too bad. It's just the distance that separates you two.
Yep.
Right? But let's say when you have an LDR with someone who's in the UK, they're 7 hours behind.
Or 8.
Yeah, or 8, right? Depending on daylight saving. When you're up, they're asleep. Right? When they're up, you're asleep. So it takes a lot more effort to keep in touch. And, towards the end of it, she was saying, let's end it on a high, instead of just waiting for, things to drop down low and, we start bickering about things, we start getting into arguments, before it ends on a really negative note, let's maybe just consider ending it here.
Okay.
Right? While we're still good.
Bloody hell, she sounds like a smart girl.
She is. She most definitely is. And you see, this is where I felt that, looking back, I was the one who was being stupid, right? Because while she was saying this, there was another message behind her message.
Okay.
See, her words told me she wanted to end it on a high, right? What I didn't read was that she wanted me to fight for the relationship, which she told me months after the relationship has ended.
Damn.
She was like, she told me...
Bro, you need to be in a K-drama, bro.
I know, right? And, she told me in truth, and she was like, when I mentioned that I didn't really want to break up, but it was more of, saying that would you really fight for the relationship. Right?
But then again, I have a message to your ex now. Don't give guys signs. Tell us the actual.
It's also true. I used to be on that side of the fence where I'm like, don't even throw this kind of thing. Like, when couples get into an argument, right, and they use the I'm gonna break up with you threat or whatever it is. To me, I would absolutely hate it if people do that. Because to me, right, if I'm committed to someone, the thought of that wouldn't even come into my mind.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, my letter to her is, I'm sorry. Sorry that I didn't fight for it. Sorry that it was so real. And it was just one great opportunity it's missed.
I have a question. Do you compare all your relationships after that with hers? Or
no?
Do you compare the girls like, okay, she has to be of this type at least?
No, definitely not. I mean, in a lot of ways, there are a lot of things that I learned from her. Right? And I also know, I'm also realistic in the sense that I know that everybody's going to be different. Yeah. Right? I cannot keep bringing in things from the previous relationship into the next one. Then no one's ever going to win. Right? We're going to have, these things happened before, so I'm going to be extra careful on the next one. No. I'm the type of person that, I'll just let it go. If the next person is completely different, hey, that's fine. I won't judge you on your past, whatever it is. But with her, I think I'm more aware that, when things end, or when things are, supposed to end, whatever it is, I know for sure that whether or not I'm going to be fighting for it. Or what I should have. But of course, this didn't immediately translate to the next one, which is the next letter, I would say.
Okay.
So the next letter, and by the way, maybe worth mentioning why I feel so strongly about the first letter is because now she's married to somebody else. Yeah, and I'm happy for her, right?
That sucks, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would take it.
Extra feels,
Yeah.
So
Today, this episode is very serious. There's not much laughter in it.
Yeah.
But there's reasons behind it. Like we want to be able to if we were to see or bump into our ex, like we want to tell them this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's always a good thing to reflect.
Correct. Correct. Memories definitely will be cherished.
Yeah. So, okay, I guess that's why you feel so strongly about the first letter to this ex, because now she's married and
that is correct. Yeah, and I'm really happy for her, right? But at the same time, it's also, it's a reminder to me
that could have been you.
Well, yeah, it could have been me, but at the same time, it's if it doesn't even have to just be about love, right? It can be with anything. But if you really feel strongly about it, fight for it.
Ooh.
Right.
Okay.
Don't be okay with just letting it go, even if it sounds logically fine.
I feel like suddenly you're talking to me subconsciously.
I mean, you can go to anybody else.
Because I'm the type, I'm like, if I don't think it's gonna work out, screw it. I'm not gonna waste my time. I ain't fighting for shit.
But that's the thing, because we were dating for about 4 years, and I could really see a future with her. Right? It's just that
right person, wrong time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And what about this second letter to your ex?
Yeah, so this second letter was the one that I've mentioned was the passionate one.
Ooh.
So this is interesting in a sense that this is the one where I felt I've done the most wrong. Right? I wasn't who I was simply because I could make up excuses.
Because she was younger.
She is.
Yeah, because I remember you saying this previously.
Correct.
Where she was a lot younger. You were working and she was studying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I could have handled it a lot better, for sure. Right?
Especially since you were the older.
That's correct. That is correct. And like I mentioned before, learning what I did from the previous relationship didn't immediately pass on to the next, because I learned this years down the road.
Well, I mean, I already mentioned I was a bastard to 2 different girls, and the second one was worse than the first one.
Yeah. And it to me, this is funny in a lot of ways, because immediately the next one was the one that like I mentioned, it was the most passionate. It was the most that you feel so emotionally connected with this person. And long story short was that I fucked up. So she would never accept it, right? Because me, in her eyes right now, I'm the freaking asshole, right? And
hey, I know that feeling.
and I don't blame her, right? And I'm willing to accept that, and I'm willing to take whatever repercussions,
Yep.
because I knew I handled that wrongly,
Yep.
right? And I could definitely say a lot of things, why I kind of reacted that way or why I handled it that way, but at the end of the day, I feel like all these things are just excuses, which is pretty lame. And she's the only one that I felt the most strong about, like I mentioned, so which is why it's more passionate. Yeah.
Saying sorry to her.
Yeah, it's just.
Is there anything you're
and
grateful to her for? What did you learn? Like, I mean, with
the
each...
one thing
Yeah.
that I can say is, when you is that when you really love someone, you really don't give a shit about anybody else, or really shouldn't.
Meaning?
Meaning that, I guess it's kind of like the feeling when you're so in love with someone, you just see that one person.
Okay.
You don't see the rest of the world, but you just see that one person. That when that one person becomes your entire world. And why I say I messed up was because although that happened, right? And it came to a point where we feel so intensely about each other. Unnecessary thoughts like adulting and like things like age difference and came into play, and it messed me up, right? So regardless, at the end of the day, what we had was good, and I just messed up.
You know what I just realized? I made the mistake of being a bastard twice. You made the same mistake twice before you learned anything.
Yeah.
And so did I. So girls, if you are listening to this, you need to allow your man to make the mistake twice.
Yeah, the sad thing about guys, here's the reality of things, right? The sad thing about guys is...
we don't take hints very easily.
No, we don't take hints, and we actually only learn after we failed.
Twice.
Multiple times.
Oh, multiple times. Some guys do take longer actually.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Twice is considered good.
Yeah.
Once is considered good, sorry.
Once is good, yeah.
Once is good, but usually it's multiple times.
Yeah, and I guess because in the younger you are, when you make this mistake, you don't learn as fast.
Yeah.
But when you learn older, when you are older, you, I guess, pick up on things a lot faster. Yeah. So, yeah, guys, please try to learn something.
Yeah. A lot of the things, it's kind of hard to word it out. When you it's hard to word out the feelings and the emotions that you feel back then, but you know how intense.
But
it is.
I think you did a good job just explaining how you felt you messed up. Like, you were able to put it into words. Because I don't think, like, for me...
there's a very simple reason behind that.
Oh.
So it's because I knew I messed up so bad that countless of years, even after we're done, I still blame myself for that.
Dude, we're in the same boat.
So it's like, oh gosh, like I knew that I was the asshole, and I'm like, you know what? I'm constantly beating myself up, over this that happened, which is why she is the one that I feel the most sorry towards.
Yeah, I don't think I can ever scratch that feeling off, even though we've spoken about it. But the one that I was a bastard the most to, I don't think I can ever forgive myself. Even though she's forgiven me, we've moved on. I've forgotten about it to the point, But anytime that I'm about to go into a relationship, I would think to myself, oh no, I can't be this bastard again. Even though I eventually did. But, it always plays a part. And I guess that is like a scar which it leaves on your memory.
Yeah, it does.
It's like, you were an asshole. Don't be that asshole again.
Yeah.
And I guess as guys, right, we learn these things so slow, okay? And not only that we learn it slow, even though we have learned the lesson, we might not bring up the textbook. It's like going to school without the textbook, and you're like, oh, sorry teacher, I forgot to bring my textbook, you know?
Yeah.
And then when you eventually go through the exam, you're like, oh no, I failed. I failed it again. I failed it before, I failed it again. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, why do guys take so long to learn something?
I don't know.
It's just in the way we're wired.
Yeah.
So, that is actually very interesting. I mean, I guess we could go on about this.
I mean,
like,
more can be said.
Yeah.
You know, but I think the essence of it is captured.
Yeah, the essence of it has been captured. Sorry, X. I'm sorry again. I'm really, really sorry.
Both thank you and
Thank you, and I'm sorry. Yeah. I guess that's a good way to end this show. We never even plugged ourselves and we got too serious.
Oh yeah. With the feels.
Yeah. Very much a feels episode today.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so we're on Instagram at the.singleguys.
Mm-hmm.
And our email is thesingleguyspodcast@gmail.com. Leave us a message. You can look for us. Well, if you're on IGTV, you obviously can look for us on Instagram. Leave us a message. You can do that on YouTube as well. Hey, we're on Spotify. We're on Apple iTunes. Like the podcast. Give us a 5-star rating.
Very much appreciated.
Very much appreciated. So we can move up the ladders.
Yeah.
With that, thank you very much for listening. I have been Jason.
And I'm Desmond.
And we are out.
Bye.